This is what a zombified corporation looks like. From the advocate, Bud Light pledges $200,000 to support LGBTQ plus business owners of color. Bud Light is currently reeling from a massive boycott which has knocked it down from the #1 spot in the country to #2. #1 now is Modelo in the United States. Modelo is controlled by a Constellation brand, so this is a correction update from the previous segment. I did mention this, but upon further investigation I have more information. Basically, there was an antitrust suit which said Anheuser-Busch and Bev can't own Modelo in the U.S. so outside the U.S. Anheuser-Busch, but in the U.S. Modelo now. #1, I'm glad to hear it. I like Modelo, so that's a good thing. Let's talk about the zombification of enterprise. Bud Light knows that what they did with Dylan Mulvaney hurt them severely, but they keep on trucking along like mindless zombies. Now I wonder, with the latest news being that Bud Light's parent company sees $27 billion gone, shares near bear market, 20 down from its highs, $27 billion wiped out. I will say this, people have asked, can you sue Anheuser-Busch for violating or neglecting their fiduciary duties to their shareholders? I believe the answer is yes. If you are a shareholder in Bud Light, and 30% of their customers jump ship, their stock is in free fall. And we all know why, and Bud Light responds by saying we're doubling down. They're intentionally destroying the stock value. They are intentionally sabotaging this brand now. It may be that's why I call them zombified. It may be that they're just mindlessly marching along. They don't care. Well, that's negligence, and if you're holding stock, I imagine you're going to lose a lot of money. You probably already did. You're going to lose more because, man, I'll say this, if you were somebody who here's how I broke it down, because Target is also down like I think $13 billion. So if you were holding on to Anheuser-Busch stock when this controversy started, you probably thought, look, these things blow over. Boycotts are not going anywhere. I'm fine. I'm not gonna sell my Anheuser stock. That'd be silly. Then when it dipped by a few bucks, you're probably thinking, well, it went down, but it's probably the bottom. Then it went down way more. Now I think it's down like 15 or something with no end in sight. Now you're angry, thinking like, okay, maybe this will finally stop. And then Bud Light announces they are doubling down. Not only are they giving $200,000 $200,000 directly to LGBTQ plus causes, we also have Bud Light sponsors Cincinnati Pride Parade after Dylan Mulvaney controversy. It's a zombie brand. It is a zombie brand. It is being worn like a skin suit. There's no one in charge anymore. There's no one looking at this company and being like, hey, our goal is to sell beer. It's institutional capture. I don't know what you could do. I'd imagine if you are a shareholder, you probably have grounds for a lawsuit, but at this point anybody still holding the stock either just isn't paying attention to their wealth, and they don't care. Like, you've got to be somebody who just puts your money away and forgets about it. Did I have stock in that? Well, I lost a lot of money. You must be very well off. I'd imagine most people who are holding shares in Anheuser-Busch were probably freaking out. I wonder who it is who's still holding this. No, seriously, I mean, obviously, people still have Bud Light stock, but even if you support these social justice moves, you don't need to just lose all your money. That's the craziest thing. It's like, all right, give your money away, I guess. Sitting there, I'm going to keep holding the stock for personal principled reasons. Okay, you could sell it and put your money into literally any other company for the next couple of months and still support Bud Light in what they're doing. I don't know. I guess there are people who are just like, it's okay to lose tons of money, or they're just not paying attention. Check it out. From theadvocate.com, they say Bud Light and the National LGBT Chamber of Commerce announced on Tuesday that they will expand Typo Guys, their existing partnership with Bud Light, donating $200,000 to the Chamber's Communities of Color initiative. Bud Light has brewed, but Bud Light was brewed to be an easy-to-drink, easy-to-enjoy beer for everyone 21 and up, and that still holds true today, said Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light's parent company, in a release. We look forward to extending our work with the NGLCC to continue making a positive impact on the LGBTQ plus businesses that play a critical role in bringing people everywhere together. The Communities of Color initiative support So initiatives support LGBTQ+ business owners from diverse backgrounds through developing certificate, scholarships, and business development opportunities, etc., etc. You get the point. You get the point. Anheuser-Busch loses top LGBTQ+ rating over its Bud Light response, and now you see, they care more about their cult rating than they do their shares. This is the future unless we do something about it. This is what communism looks like, and I'm not saying it's all identical, and there's probably a better word for the modern version of what we're seeing: techno-communism, algorithmism, the ideas that are being presented, and the reason they do these things is solely based on mindless algorithmic marching forward. The people running Bud Light have been zombified. They don't know, they don't care. The company, look, I gotta say, if you lose 30% of your customers in 2 months, and you keep doing the same thing, it kind of feels like whoever is in charge fell asleep at the wheel. What happens when someone falls asleep at the wheel? Okay, I'll put it this way: you're driving in the big old Bud Light truck carrying the beers, and there's a person, he's driving in the big old Bud Light truck carrying the beers, and there's a person, he's driving, and you're going down the road. Everything's great. That person falls asleep. The car starts drifting. For this moment between the explosive crash and 25 car pile up, in this brief moment where the drivers are sleeping and the car is drifting, you know something's wrong. You can see that the truck is veering off path. You know that if you continue down this path you will crash, but in that moment the truck is still there, the beers are all still there, and then very shortly after the driver falls asleep, kaboom. So what do I see? Bud Light is asleep at the wheel. Their company is veering dramatically off course. It's spiraling out of control, and they're doing nothing to correct it. Nothing. They've just given up. They've decided jump out of the vehicle. You know this is, they just jumped out of the driver's seat and now nobody's driving. What's gonna happen? Yo, I wouldn't be surprised if Bud Light does collapse as a brand. I'm not saying it will. I mean, that would be like massive. I think it's fair to say actually that Bud Light as a brand is garbage at this point. You know they still have sales. People will still drink it because people really don't care all that much. Like, let me give me a light beer, I don't care. I've seen people when I go out there drinking Bud Light. I went to a bar and then a bunch of Bud Light in the fridge. Most people weren't drinking it, though I see a lot of people drinking Coors, and it makes sense when you look at the data. But I wouldn't be surprised if Bud Light becomes a negligible generic garbage brand that people mostly don't care about. I mean, look, they're giving the beer away for free right now. You have all these stores all over the place where it's like 15 case with a 15 rebate, free beer. There was we stayed at a Charles. We stayed in Charleston, West Virginia for Memorial Day, and I didn't notice this. I think it was an Ian who pointed it out. We were given free drink coupons. This is really, really funny. When we checked in, we were given free drink coupons, and I was thinking like, oh, that's cool. Like, I wonder why they do that. The free drink was Bud Light. No joke, the free drink you got was Bud Light. I wonder if the reason they were giving out free drink coupons was because they can't move the Bud Light and it costs money to dispose of if a hotel chain has 1,000 bottles or whatever, and they're like, how are we gonna get rid of this? Like, people, it's better off people drinking it so that we can get rid of it. So they gave out free drink coupons. This is really amazing. Bud Light parent company Anheuser-Busch sees 27 billion gone, shares near bear market. I have to wonder, can you sue? I think the answer is yes, and I think people who had stock and Anheuser-Busch probably should. I mean, for one, you definitely need to be complaining. They're doubling down on all of this we're seeing now. Look at this. We got this story from are they blocking me? Tip ranks Kohl's stock falls in pride, uproar like Bud and Target. It's now being reported Kohl's is facing strong criticism for the promotion of merchandise related to Pride Month. A few social media groups are even pushing to boycott Kohl's stores. Do people still shop at Kohl's? Apparently they do, but they had baby onesies or something like that. That's what we're seeing on Twitter. I have to wonder, it is becoming painfully clear that if you start to embrace this stuff, it is damaging to your company, and it's creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where there's no excuse for any company to do it. It's really crazy actually. Bud Light implodes and they double down. It's only going to get worse from here. I am gonna say it again as a reason. Look, I don't want to give you any financial advice, though I'm just saying I don't know how anyone could hold blood Anheuser-Busch stock at this point.